Welcome to the E-Show with Neil Ravin. Founded in 2013, the EHL has become the college placement leader on the East Coast. Sit back and learn more about the next step in your junior hockey career.
Welcome to the E-Show, presented by the Penalty Box Foundation. The Foundation's mission centers around their daily motto, "We take care of our own," as they help out all of those within the hockey community who've experienced a catastrophic event. Learn more at penaltyboxfoundation.org. What's up? My name is Neil Ravin. This is episode number 158 of the E-Show. On this week's episode, we wrap up the regular season and set the table for the postseason. Inside a jam-packed weekly rundown, this year's annual awards are given out throughout the EHL and the EHLP, and we give an update on the final seeds and matchups for the upcoming playoffs. Further along in the E-Crew Fantasy Challenge, we reset our picks for the first week of the postseason, and then finish things off by circling the matchups we're most intrigued by and our What to Watch For segment. This week's episode is brought to you by Hockey Tech, the developers for the new EHL app, available now in both Apple and Google stores. So with that, let's bring in my partner this week. I was going to say, like, crew is plural, Jeff, and
yes, it is.
It's just Jeff and I this week, but does not take away from how big this episode is.
Just the two of us. Justin will be blowing up my phone. Jeff, stop singing. You remember we have to get copyrights when we sing songs. Justin, that was only like 2 seconds, my man. So
yes,
yeah, huge week here, Neil. Also, sorry for the rasp. Going through the third cold in the last month. Almost blew out the voice at Northeastern men's and women's hockey over the weekend. And so we don't sound as smooth and dulcet tones through the microphone this week, but we're trudging through, buddy.
You're pounding water. Vicky got me one of these new like Stanley cups.
Ooh,
yours
is
nice.
Similar.
Yeah, I guess this is like a big influencer thing. This has 40 ounces in it, so.
Ooh, beautiful. Yeah, I got 32 ounces of tea right here, and then I got 22 ounces of water right next to me. So, Team Old Guys, we got our products this week, buddy.
So we have a lot to get into. Of course, a playoff preview, but also the end of the season awards. So let's get into it right now with the weekly rundown.
It's time for the E-Crew's Weekly Rundown.
The E-Show Weekly Rundown is brought to you by the Junior Hockey Podcast, your home for junior hockey news, knowledge, and nonsense. Check them out at tjhpodcast.com.
So it's really going to start as more of a yearly rundown because it's the end of the season awards, and then we turn it into weekly. So we do have a number of awards to give out right now. We're going to start in the EHLP. Last year we did a award show with some video. We're just going to do it on the podcast this year. I mean, it's just crazy right now. We're recording this on a Monday. We never record on a Monday. Dropping it on Monday if we can here too, so that you can all listen to it before playoffs start tomorrow, the 7th. So, but without further ado, let's jump right into this year's awards. Like I said, we're going to start in the EHLP. I guess we'll start right at the MVP award. Does that work for you, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's keep it symmetrical. We won't zig and zag. We'll keep everyone locked in, you know.
So the MVP this season of the EHLP goes to the leading scorer in the EHLP, Jack Murkowski. I mean, I think that we knew Adirondack would be good. I don't know if we thought they would be this good, and led by Murkowski with just a nice, clean 80-point regular season.
80 points, symmetrical, beautiful thing. One of the biggest things too about Jack deal is that if my eyes stand me corrected, if they are correct, I believe he only had 3 games the entire year where he had no points. That's it.
No, and for those that want to test their eyes, Jeff, if when you scroll like that, it's like, all right, I see a 0, I see
0.
Two more zeros, and I think that's it. Like,
yeah, literally. But 39 out of 42 games, 80 points for Jack Murkowski. And I mean, we've talked about it too. Like, we've talked a lot about his dad, Coach Murkowski, as he was a storied NHL player, a guy with a lot of background in the league and just in hockey in general. I mean, we've seen it, right, Neil? There's been a lot of, it's not easy playing for your dad. I mean, I never played for my dad. I know you never did, but we do have some some coaches in the league that have decided to coach their boys, and we have some coaches in this league and in other leagues that I know that decided they do not want to coach their sons because of of a possibility of things not happening well, or some things going off the rails per se. But so for Murkowski to be able to put up the points he did, now I don't know if this is the first time Jack's played for Glenn. Do you know off the top of your head? Have they
probably
played for him in the
youth,
past?
right? Probably youth,
Right.
but never at
At
a
this high of a
level
level.
like this. No.
Right. So for him to be able to put up the points he did, lead the team the way he did, I think that's a huge credit to him. He wasn't just a point getter; he was a vocal leader and a veteran and a captain through and through for a very talented Adirondack Junior Thunder team that I think is poised for a deep run. We shall see with the playoffs coming up. But yeah, congrats to Jack on a heck of a season for the expansion Adirondack Junior Thunder. Well deserved.
Yeah, so Jack Murkowski, most valuable player in the EHLP. Forward of the year, Drake Tomac, Boston Junior Rangers. Should come as no surprise that the Rangers give us another top forward, as Tomac is the 5th player to win the Forward of the Year honor in the EHLP, having worn the Rangers jersey. So I would venture to guess if he can fall along the lines of a Mike McPherson, Danila Larionovs, Johnny Malandrucolo,
Alphabet,
Mike Bichette.
Yep.
I mean, Drake Tomac, right? At one point this season, he had a goal in 17 straight games. I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, he scored a goal in at least 17 straight games.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. He's an 03. So I think that it goes without saying that he should be on the Rangers EHL team next year.
One would think.
One would think, right? But hey, you know what? Sticking with the Rangers, while Tomac led the way up front, it was Cam Arkelian leading the way on the back end for a defenseman, a second-year guy for them, and our defenseman of the year this year in the EHLP. So if you want to keep track at home, while Tomac is the 5th Ranger in history to win the Forward of the Year award, Arkelian is the 2nd. Going all the way back to Brendan Horgus, my very first year in the league, 2015-16, right?
Whoa, yeah.
But the first time since 2015-16 where the Rangers have had both the Forward of the Year and the Defenseman of the Year awards in the same year. And we're going to get more into the playoffs later.
Yeah.
With 3 awards in, Adirondack, Rangers. Keep those 2 teams in mind.
I would say that's a good guess. Well, like you said too, Neil, I mean, that's huge, right? Because the EHL Rangers have some guys that are age outs that are going to be moving on and playing in college next year. So for Arkelian and Tomac, like we said, we don't know what their decisions are yet, right? But you would think that team's probably going to go on a deep run. They're probably going to get even more glued together with their organization, and they'll want to come back. I mean, you just said it with that list. Bichette was a point per game guy in the EHL this year after being, what was he, like a 2-point player per 2-point per game player last year. He put up buckets of points. Same thing with Malandrucolo. He was a guy that put up the century mark in the EHLP and then came up to the EHL. And I don't know if we want to bring it up, but he was pretty good in that championship game. Offsides? No? Anyone?
Well, and Malandrucolo, a game winner in an EHL championship game. Bichette, a game winner in an EHLP championship game. Tomac, Murkowski, Arkelian, who knows, right?
Could be there in Providence. We'll see.
We will turn a little bit away from those 2 teams with the goalie of the year. And speaking of streaks, back-to-back years, back-to-back goalies of the year for the Railers Junior Hockey Club, Aiden Healy getting the honor this season from the Railers. Tailed off a little bit at the end. I mean, he got off to a crazy start. I'm pretty sure I gave him goalie of the week honor 4 times before it was even Thanksgiving. Try and find somebody different, but I couldn't, right? But he's a huge reason that, honestly, you can make the case that the Railers are the 3rd best team in the EHLP, right?
Yeah.
They just happen to be in one of the divisions with one of the top 2, right? But we'll get more into the playoffs, like I said, later. But if we do end up with another Railers versus Rangers matchup, Aiden Healy is going to have to carry the load for the Railers to try and knock off the Rangers and get back to the Frozen Finals. So,
100%. And that was another, and the crazy thing too, real quick, Neil, sorry about the Railers, is their premier team is much like their EHL team. They had Dom Waleka too.
Yeah.
So it was Waleka and Healy.
If you
One would
scroll
say,
up, on your records page, which I just updated just now prior to recording,
hot off the
Dom
press.
Waleka actually falls in the top 10 for goals against average. Yeah.
Wow.
In EHLP history, right?
2-1-3.
So I don't know why the numbers went away there. The numbers are right here. They should be showing up, but he's listed as 10th. So
I mean, that just goes to show you again, like people have been talking about recently, right? Not to get too off the rails, but with the Bruins, people are talking about with Linus Ullmark with the Vezina Trophy because he hasn't played as many games. Does he truly deserve it? I mean, this just goes to show you too. Aiden Healy, I think he did deserve the goaltender of the year. Obviously, the votes said as much too. Playing in 22 games, he played in a little more than half of the games this year. 12-3-1, 247 goals against, 916 save percentage. Those are great numbers. And Waleka's were great too. But yeah. So I mean, Wickens was he was kind of up and down with the EHL and EHLP this year, and we'll see if Healy. I mean, Kolonic's going to be moving on. LaPierre's moving on. So maybe we see Healy and Wickens a combo next year. Waleka too. That's three goalies right there.
plenty to choose from, which segues us into our EHLP top prospect, which for the second straight year, I've decided it's just easier to give out one for forward, D, and goalie. The first year we had it, we gave it out to Ben Pfeiffer, 87s, 2020, 21. Last year, we recognized Johnny Lee, Chris Merriman, and Logan Givens. This year, we recognized Ryan Arendes, Ryan Sember, and Kean Hodgins. 04, 06, 06.
Wow.
They all made noise this season. I mean, Arendes for a long time was leading the league in scoring. Ryan Sember, I mean, he was right behind Arkelian for Defenseman of the Year voting. And I'll never forget when Kean Hodgins emailed me and said, "Hey, I'm listed as a 2005 and I'm actually an 06." And I was like, "What? You're even younger than our website at the moment said you are, right?" And he is a giant in net. So, I mean, three absolute studs who were all big parts of their teams and all have reason to believe that they can help get their teams to Providence, right? Huntsman, we've talked about it on this podcast, how it may come down to them in the 87s. The Wolves, I think, have been so quietly looked at this year, like maybe underrated, right? Yeah. Like, and Ryan Sember's been terrific for them. And then Kean Hodgins, like, you know, if you want to say Murkowski is an 02, Kean Hodgins is the other end of the spectrum, right? He's one of the youngest players in the league, and he's a part of that team up at Adirondacks. So I think three awesome choices there, which gives us to our last major award, which was Coach of the Year. And it's pretty cool to see Glenn Murkowski get named Coach of the Year in his first season. They've been so good in the second half that I think that's what caught the attention of a lot of coaches. I mean, they're entering the postseason on an 18-game point streak.
Too hot? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Talked about that a lot, right?
So that ranks fourth all time, right? So
they've been hot since Christmas.
Yes,
since like before Christmas. That's
seriously,
that was a while ago. So just put that into perspective for people.
So from a spinning it the coaching way, he obviously saw something in them over the break, and what he's been able to get out of them in the second half has been truly, truly remarkable. So
in a New England division that's just littered with good teams. Lumberjacks, Wolves, Avs. You just talked about the Wolves a little bit. Maybe the Lumberjacks are even kind of underrated too. Although I know we've talked a decent amount about them, but yeah, that's an excellent job by Glenn Murkowski to navigate out of that New England division as the regular season champs, Neil, for sure. Well deserved.
So we will then get to the all league and all division teams fast. Yep. So the first team, all EHLP, made up of a lot of those guys, obviously, right? So you have Tomac and Murkowski, Arkelian, and Healy. There's your four major award winners. Also put Atticus Bean on the first team. I mean, he and when you define MVP if he's not on the Seahawks, who are the Seahawks, right? I guess is the question, right? So like he has been excellent for them. And actually, Jack Randall is the second D, and we had talked about him numerous times in this podcast. The experience he brings to Adirondack and having been to the past 2 Frozen Finals.
Yeah, with the Lumberjacks.
Vermont, right? So he should know a few things to say in the postseason run here.
One would think. Locker room speech, Jack Randall, get ready, buddy.
Yeah. So the second team is still made up of a few guys that we've given awards out to so far, in Ryan Arendes, Ryan Sember, and Kean Hodgins, but also fill in Brendan Manning, a forward from Chandler, Arizona, who maybe that was why Seth got him, right? Because Seth's from Arizona. From Chandler. So,
it's like, hey, I see a little bit of me and you.
Yeah, like excellent forward for the Lumberjacks this season. Zach Needham, the top forward for the Avalanche this season, and then Aiden Swin, the top defenseman for the Railers. So maybe a slight tick down first team to second team, but this team is still pretty damn good.
I mean, all those guys are over 1.5 per game. So yeah.
Right. Which leads us to the third team, all EHLP. Jeff, I don't think we've figured out how to say this name yet, but Dominic Stomakev, he, I mean, another 06 who is just an absolute stud. I mean, I didn't realize quite how tall he was, too. He is a giant.
Yeah.
Came up to me at the EHLP All-Star game to get his jersey, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see him with the big wolves next year. Still a young wolf that could be a big wolf next year, you know?
That's for sure. That's for sure. Jonah Bird and Andrew Blanchard round out the forward group. Of course, Andrew Blanchard scored the penalty shot game winner in the EHLP All-Star game. Kind of a cool moment that was. The defensive pairing, Zach Machichi, who's already tendered to be with the Seahawks EHL next year. And then I know that Daniil Dayukin's not with the Huntsmen anymore. He's actually playing EHL 87s now. But
that's right.
He was a fantastic member of the Huntsmen, getting them to where they are now, for over half the season.
There.
So very worthy of being on the third team. And then Alex Gerard, the third team all EHLP. So different from previous years, we then just did one team per division. So if you want to work your way down, the New England team includes Hunter Atkinson from the Avalanche, Pepe De La Quadri from the Lumberjacks, Jordan Palacio from the Chiefs, defensive pairing of Oliver Hertzberg, who began the season with the Chiefs, is now with the Lumberjacks.
Almost 87s last year, Hertzberg? I thought.
You're thinking of a different Hertzberg.
Look at that. Too many years in this league.
Too many years, exactly. His defensive partner on the New England team is Jim Fitzgerald, and then in goal, Owen Currier, who we still do not know if he let me score that goal or not in the JBT shootout. We'll figure that out later.
I don't think so. I think he tried.
The Boston team, forward unit of Matt Devon, who is now playing EHL in the playoffs for the Warriors, so keep an eye on him at that level. Charlie Mulligan from the Rangers and Max Greco from the Seahawks. Defensive pairing of Zach Pappas from the Rangers and Ken Muniz from the Seahawks. And then Rangers again. I mean, how many Rangers have we popped up here? Nick Mutchler.
They're pretty good.
Yes, huh? Nick Mutchler in goal. Then up to wrap up the EHLP with the Mid-Atlantic team. Look at all the 87s logos there, Jeff.
Ooh, they're pretty good too.
Nick Schatz first. Tyler Goebel from the Union Thunder. Ian Finley, who actually at the last possible second on March 1st is going to finish the year with the Little Flyers EHL team now.
Excellent.
So nice. Congrats to him for that.
Another team that's been red hot down the stretch.
Oh, for sure, for sure. John Bellantoni, Renegades defenseman. Tyler Brandis, 87's defenseman. And Jason Larico, 87's goaltender. Take a breath. I think that's everyone for the EHLP.
Way to go, P. Nice job. Well deserved for all of you guys. A lot of you guys in the records page. That says something for sure.
Yep. So the challenge, I will say, for the postseason, for first one, Jason Larico, currently tied all time.
A bunch of guys.
Shutouts with 6, right? So
Joey Jameson, Matt Morrison, Chad Zimmerman.
Shutout. He takes over. It's his record, right?
His alone.
And I didn't know if you noticed this, Steph, but EHLP, we've never had a goalie get more than one shutout in a single postseason. These
Holy
are all goalies that have
smokes.
had one shutout. So
Yeah.
looking for a
Larico's
goalie.
on there too.
Yeah, looking for a goalie to say, I'm going to get 2 this year.
Do it.
So
We dare you.
we'll get to more postseason stuff in a little bit, but that does it
Yep.
for the EHLP, which moves us over to the EHL now. Should I try and go in a similar order, Jeff?
Yeah, that works. So we start with third team.
Oh, we want to go reverse order.
Or actually, isn't that what we started with?
We started with MVP and forward of the year.
Oh, that's right. All right, yeah, let's go. We'll do the same thing. Let's start with MVP again.
When you get the votes
Chalk
for
here.
both, when you get the votes for both, right, you win both, right? So,
Yep.
it was not really close either. So, William,
This guy's been talked about since September. I mean,
yeah.
I think we all knew in September, October that he was going to end up being the MVP forward of the year. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, we love to spread the love, of course, right? But I mean, the way that the votes came in, he won each award in commanding fashion.
yeah,
72 points, 31 goals, 41 assists. I mean, a big reason why the Spartans are entering the postseason in the power rankings as the number 1 ranked team.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I don't. This is nothing against the Wolves or Lumberjacks because they are 2 very worthy opponents for the Spartans and Avalanche to be facing. But I mean, if we get a Spartans Avalanche North Division Finals, man, like he is a key. I mean, he's not a quiet X factor, we'll say, but he is a gigantic X factor.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too, we were just talking about before, Drew Oliveri's teammate actually finished 1 point above him for the points total in the EHL with 73. So, yeah, I mean that team's locked and loaded. We've been talking about them all year, and Spartans have been familiar foes in the playoffs in years past, haven't they, Neil? So
yes, they have.
This year could be the most interesting, though.
Yeah, of course. And William Prey was part of the All-Star team back in October that faced Nazareth and Brockport, along with this guy, Adam Jubran, defenseman of the year, led all defensemen in scoring with 45 points. A huge reason that this is probably the most confidence the Seahawks have ever had entering the postseason. Is that a fair statement, potentially?
I'd say so, because I think they have the best combination as far as teams that they've had in years past. I mean, they have a little bit more scoring touch this year. I mean, one interesting thing about them too, I would say, is the goaltending kind of faltered a little bit down the stretch. I think they give up a little too many goals down the stretch. So it'll be interesting to see the combination of Andralowitz and Rolf, what they go with Coach Zanaboni being a former goalie too. But yeah, I think the Seahawks definitely, I mean, potent power play, potent penalty kill, McManus, Jubran. They got guys everywhere, Neil, for sure.
Our 4th award, and sticking again with that all-star team because this guy was also there. Jack Boschert, the goalie of the year this year, second-year guy, 21 wins, 196 and a 941. Heading off to the University of Wisconsin Superior next fall, our first ever direct to that school. I guess that's UWSP. Is that their abbreviation?
I think so.
Yeah, that's where we're going to go with in this podcast.
It is now.
Our first ever player to directly commit to that school. We've had one alumni advance to the NA and then go to that school. So pretty cool to see Jack heading there. Of course, all eyes on him to try and match what he did last postseason, which was virtually be unconscious between the pipes while helping to lead the Express to the Frozen Finals. So I don't have that number in front of me right now, but I got to figure it out, actually. What was his save percentage last year in that postseason, Jeff?
Oh, I just lost you there, Neil. Actually, you just came back.
Oh, I lost you then, too.
Oh, all right, we're back.
I was talking about how unconscious Jack was in the postseason last year. There we go. With a 107 goals against average and a 967 save percentage.
A 6-2 record.
So, I mean, it's hard to match those numbers, right? But everyone will be looking for him to do so, right? I mean, you set the bar that high, go do it again, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, that's a team that is very hungry to get back to Providence. They won the East Division. Congrats to Nick Coda in his first year, rookie head coach. Adjusting from the USPHL over here to the EHL. Things run a little differently, and it's Nick really did a great job of navigating through everything and leading that team that was struggled for scoring at points and times, but they figured it out. They've got a lot of additions. Nolan McDonough was a huge one. Robbie Rebroker, guys they're going to need to count on in the playoffs because Jack can give up 1 or 2 goals, but you still got to put in, 1, 2, 3 the other way to get him a win.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they will.
That leads us to, for the first time, co-rookies of the year.
Ooh.
And let me just start by saying that while going through the voting process, every time I went back to the coaches to say, removing these candidates from the list, who do you vote for? Now take these guys out, who do you vote for? And I was trimming away the guys that weren't tied, and every time I did that, these two remained tied. They could not separate from each other. So I think it became fitting for me just to name them both rookies of the year.
Yeah.
Daniel McKiernan, 29 goals, 29 assists. Yeah, I love symmetry, Jeff. I love it.
Something tells me a part of you definitely wanted to make him just rookie of the year with the numbers like that, but nicely done, Neil, that you let Jack Wyman in there too.
You look at the two of them compared to each other, right? They both played every single game this season for their respective teams.
Ironman.
46 games each. Wyman finished the year with 8 game-winning goals. There was only one guy in the league that had more than that, and his name is William Prey, right?
And to be able to play every game, like you said, but then also play every game and have that kind of impact too. And Wyman was a huge power play guy too. He had 15 points in the power play, 4 goals, 11 assists.
Yeah.
McKiernan, same thing. He was a big power play guy, 2 goals, 7 assists on the power play. Also, he had 6 game winners, Neil, so not too bad. Just under Jack's 8 game winners.
Yeah.
Kind of clutch, right?
Should I?
Uh-oh.
You want the coach of the year now? You want the coach of the year after the all conference and all those teams?
You want to save the best for last? A little surprise?
We'll save the best for last. So, we'll start with the all EHL first team, which of course will include William Prey, includes Jack Boschert, Aiden Hotchkiss, and Heath Bench. Both players were worthy candidates to steal the Forward of the Year award, maybe from William Prey.
3 and 4 in the league in points, respectively. So, yeah.
And then include Jacob Gates here as well.
Cool, our best offensive defenseman in the league.
He was in the EHL Combine last spring.
So come on back.
He's heading off to Brockport, I believe, this fall, right?
But, I was saying for future people.
Oh, yes.
Come on back to the Massachusetts and Michigan Combines.
That's perfect, Jeff, because that's what it could be, right? You can come into this league and produce. Mm-hmm. So that's the first team. The second team, this team is pretty damn good too. You mentioned Drew Oliveri leading the league in scoring, actually ahead of Prey. You pair him with Dallas D'Amato and then our boy Louis Joseph Gurnon.
The man.
2 Rough Riders on this team, Kieran Chung and Dallas D'Amato. 2 Spartans on this team. You put Eddie Mulligan with Drew Oliveri. And then, right there with Jack Boschert, David Felak has been just terrific for the Rangers this season. So there's your second team. Now Felak,
I can't believe Felak and Jewel both going to SUNY Brockport next year too.
Yeah.
2 EHL goaltenders going to the same to go play with the rest of our Tom Cherko, Chris Aarons, all those boys that are up there too.
Yep. And then play against us in the fall, right?
Yeah. So we become enemies. It'll be fun.
The final set of forwards for the third team, Victor Deneau, Scott McManus, Graham Broadford, even that unit is rock solid.
That's a first unit in other years if those other guys don't exist.
Seriously. And then an all-South defensive pair here with David Dell and J.J. Creighton. And then maybe one of the players that we'll miss the most when he moves on from an entertainment factor. Stefan Gulhanek for the Railers, also the all-time winningest goaltender.
As I say, entertainment and stats-wise too, I'd say.
Yeah. Enters the postseason having won 54 games. So that obviously beat the record of 52. So every win he gets the rest of the way just keeps raising the bar higher and higher for someone to try and snap that record. So
could we have 3 straight years where the all-time wins leader in goaltending is broken? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
He breaks Miller after last year, and I don't know.
we're naming two, co-rookies of the year, but, it shouldn't go unnoticed how terrific George Kolovos has been for the East
Yeah.
Coast Wizards. I mean, if those two are co, then he is like right behind them.
Yep.
Great defensive pairing of Jack Costabile and Tristan Boyer. And then Kyle Span just jumped right in as the 87 starter early fall, I want to say.
Yeah, when they lost Cam Carroll, I mean, that's a huge thing. Span stepped in and the 87s didn't really miss a beat, honestly. So that was huge for Adam Hooley and the 87s to have Span, who was already with the team, just kind of step up and take over that number one role. And there was a race all the way down to the end for the South Division. They fell just a little bit shy, but I think they're going to make some noise in the postseason too. And Span's going to be a big part of it for sure.
For sure. That leads us to our all-North team. Again, just one per division, just like we did for the EHLP. The North has 2 Avalanche, 2 Wolves, 2 Spartans. So you got from the Wolves, Macias Budina. We finally figured out how to say that one.
You said that one right? Well
yes.
done.
Thank
Tracks
you.
on that. Look at that.
And Cody Plaza, so a forward and a D.
Yep.
From the Spartans, Kenny Maxwell and Tristan Fadadet, a forward and a goalie.
Yep.
And then from the Avalanche, a forward in the D, and Kyle Dan and Andrew Wolozian. Mm-hmm. So there's your North team. We'll keep working down from there, right? We'll go to East next. Forward unit, 1 from the Wizards, 1 from the Rangers, 1 from the Express. Connor Roach, Will Halecki, and Ben Sauerbaugh. Defensive pairing, Caden Connors from the Warriors. Victor Malzahn recently just announced that he's also going to Brockport next season, Jeff.
Wow.
And then Matt Gover in goal for that East team. I mean, this East team still is pretty damn strong. So to the Central we go. Forwards Ethan Lim from the Chiefs, Alex Beauvais from Rhode Island. I think every time we had a showcase, he scored a game winner at a showcase.
Yeah,
it felt like
seriously.
right? Cooper Smith.
Love those showcases.
Yes, right. Cooper Smith from the Rough Riders. Defensive pairing, Corbin Mealy from the Railers and Lucas Salas from the Apple Corps. And then Callum Welch, keep an eye on him in the postseason for Rhode Island because he can be the type of goalie that steals a game, steals a series potentially, right?
Yeah, committed to Assumption, a very good college program. So, yeah, for sure.
And then we'll wrap it all up with the South team, which has 2 members from Philly Hockey Club. Ethan Byrne, another rookie, right? If you want to, you can only put 3 rookies on the all-rookie team, right? Mm-hmm. So you got McKiernan, you got Wyman, and you got Kolovos, and then there's Byrne too. And
I think if Byrne didn't miss a lot of time with injuries, he might have been on. I think
for sure
on that team for sure. But unfortunately, yeah, he got banged up. Had a concussion that kept him out of the lineup for a while. So yeah, but still a great season for Byrne for sure.
So he's 1 forward. Another forward there is Kobe Howitt, who I think we said last week has 32 points in 2023, right?
Yeah, machine.
He has been just a beast for the Little Flyers. And then Charles Lavoie recently committed to Albertus Magnus. It wraps up that forward unit. Another member of the All-Star team from October. Mm-hmm. Defensive pairing, Andrew Henry from the Little Flyers and Tommy Madden from Philly Hockey Club. And then recently committed to Southern New Hampshire, goalie Colin Berkey. Wraps up the
Do Walshy proud, Burks. Do Walshy
yes.
proud. I loved you on my Blue All-Stars. He teased us both in a text message trying to guess who it was that he got committed. And it was you, Mr. Colin Berkey. And yeah, that'll be exciting to see Burks up at the ice den with the Penmen, not the Avalanche.
Yes. So we'll get to the last individual award now in the EHL, then get to some team honors to wrap it all up.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I knew this yet.
Yeah, this is a great surprise because making this phone call each year is probably one of the highlights, I think, of the season for me because the reaction that the coach gives, it just makes it all like worth it. You know what I mean, Jeff?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, like we're doing this for a reason, right? I mean,
so what was his reaction before we say his name? Was it
like totally taken back,
really?
total surprise, before he even hung up, I could tell that there were some emotions there because I
That's
could
awesome.
hear in the background his girlfriend say, "That's awesome," and then the phone hung up. Right, so
Oh,
so it was really cool getting the chance to call Terry Watt up and
yeah,
tell him that he is this year's coach of the year. I mean, it's crazy to think that they're only in their third season, right?
yeah.
Like and what he's done with the Ducks program. I know they're changing names and rinks next year,
But it's
but
gonna be the same.
it's without
Just
a doubt going to be the
just a
same.
different rank, different name. It's still gonna be the same program. And yeah, Terry's one of our favorites, Neil, right? Waters. He's the man. I got the Protect Ducks jersey right here, right next to me, Terry. So thanks for the jersey, buddy. Well done on the being the coach of the year. Very, very well deserved. One of the guys, a really young mind in this league that he cares through and through. He bleeds orange for that Protect Junior Ducks team, but in all seriousness, he was a very good player, and he's worked in all day. He's worked in women's hockey too. He's got a really kind of diverse background. I know he's doing some scouting in the NA now too. And yeah, just a guy that truly deserves coach of the year. As like you said, Neil, each year that the Ducks have been here, 1 through 3, they've taken a drastic step, and now they won the South Division this year, beating the 87s team that slapped them in the face last year, for lack of a better word, with those two
Right?
big playoff losses. And I think Terry's really anxious to get back in the playoffs this year and kind of show people who's boss and kind of lay their Protect Junior Ducks name into getting into better areas in the most important season, the postseason.
He did tell me that he would trade this for the trophy behind me here.
EHL Cup.
Yep. We'll see, but he's going to enter the postseason as the number 1 seed in the South Division.
Mm-hmm.
The final 5 awards that we have to announce start off with the I'm gonna rename this the New England Wolves Community Service Award. I mean, like
I mean,
they
someone else try to beat them because they're
well, that's
damn
the
good
thing.
every year.
Like, you know
You
what? I
can't even
mean,
argue with it. You really can't.
they do it every season, and it's more. It really is more than just JBT night, but JBT night is kind of like the. I don't want to say the nail in the coffin, right? But that's kind of like what gives them the award every year, right? Because
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just the runaway. It is
$33,928 raised. Like,
for the Thompson family. Like it's
yeah,
unbelievable. It gives you chills. It does.
yeah.
And you're right, they do. Andrew Trimble, the owner of the Wolves, he does do a ton for that program. So do Timmy Kuhns and Connor Bates and Lou Luttrell and the rest of the coaching staff. They're really thickly embedded in that Laconia, New Hampshire community for sure.
Yeah.
And like we said, competition breeds excellence. Someone else try to beat them because there's been no one better than the Wolves for as long as me and you have both been around this league.
Yeah, I mean, there's no team that really connects with the community
Like they
like they
do.
do.
Yeah.
And this has nothing to do with me winning the shootout this year.
Glad you threw that one out there because
but
when
I
you post
was
this tonight, it's gonna
yeah, but
yeah.
I have been told, with that trophy's over there. I have to
Is
go
it
back next
backwards or
year.
is it facing the right way now?
I have to fix that. But anyways, you know, what's awesome is you can already assume that next year they'll raise even more money than they
Yeah.
raised this year,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
that's the Community Service Award, which at some point we'll just name the Wolves Award. And then I decided this year to recognize a team in each division for social media because
Oh,
it's awesome to see how the teams have challenged each other, right? And pushed each other to be more active on social media and attract the audience and sell the brand. And is there one program in particular that's helped move the needle more than others to get some to work harder? Yeah, maybe it's the Railers or the 87s,
yeah.
but for the Avalanche in the north, for the Express in the east, for the Railers in the central, and for the 87s in the south, like you go to their social media channels and in a matter of seconds,
You see.
you know what's going on with their program,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
not to be biased, but they all have great broadcasters too, I would say. The good
Yep.
play-by-play people, Anthony and Chris with the 87s, Tyler with Walpole, Tyler actually helping out the Avalanche a great deal too. And then the Railers with Jake Basile. And Jake does so much for not just the Railers, but their Hockey Night in Boston company. And yeah, no, I mean, you're right, Neil. And this is a social media day and age. Like the funniest thing is like, think back to when hockey TV was fast hockey, right? And we used to see like those numbers of like how many people were on and watching. And now on hockey TV, it's insane. Like the amount of people that come up to us at showcases, individual games that say, we listen to every game. We check out all your tweets. We listen to every e-show episode. I mean, this is why we started the e-show years ago. Me, you, and Brittany did,
Yeah.
because we're like, we need something to take this league to another level where it's going to attract. It's another recruiting tool. And social media is a huge recruiting tool, whether people want to believe it or not. It's the way of the future, and it's a way to get guys into your program, keep guys in your program, and steal people from competitors.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
If
So
you can do it well, like those teams have, they have. So
another deep breath. So that
another sip
wraps
of
up.
tea.
Yes, that wraps up award season for the EHL. You know what I like about it is we've started to the last few years give it out like we have today, the day before the playoffs start, because I want to add a little pressure to those who do get awards, but then for those that didn't get awards, because there are still plenty of worthy candidates out there, but you can only have one MVP, one goalie of the year. I hope this is an extra motivation, right?
Right.
In the postseason for you to go out and make a name for yourself, right? Because we've seen players add their names to various different record books in the postseason. Drew Oliveri had a fantastic postseason last year for the Railers. Trent King had the best postseason in EHLP history last year with 15 points, right? So
big reason why he moved up to the EHL this year. Same with
100%.
Oliveri over at the Spartans. Oliveri just became the leading point scorer in the entire EHL. Who would have predicted that at the beginning of the season?
Yeah,
I mean, he took last year's postseason and took it into this year.
100%. I mean, we mentioned Jack Boschert, the year that the Rangers, what was this, 21-22? Is that their championship year? I think that was their championship year. Maybe 2021. Not even sure. But a 0.90 goals against average for Miller. He said, I'm the goalie of the year, and here is why, right? So I hope that for some of those out there that didn't win awards, this is just fuel for the fire to steal the show here in March, because that's what we're going to talk about next, because this is an awards show
/ season wrap up.
Well, this is the weekly part of the weekly rundown.
We're still in the weekly rundown. An hour in, we're still in the weekly rundown, my man.
Seriously, right? We'll start in the EHLP again, because I mean, it came down to the last game like we thought it would. So just to list off the matchups quickly. First in the New England division, Adirondack, I mean, they actually gave the Rangers a little bit of a run there at the end for that regular season championship, but they do have, they are the number one seed in the New England division as they await the winner of the Chiefs and Avalanche in the first round. The other matchup in that division, Wolves versus Lumberjacks, because they play each other at least at one level every year in the postseason, it feels like, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure one of the emails that went back and forth was like, so we meet again. For the Boston division, of course, the Rangers have won their fourth regular season championship in franchise history, to go with 3 playoff championships so far. So they are the number one seed in the Boston division, awaiting the winner of the Express and the Seahawks, while the Railers and Warriors do battle. So we're curious to see if this will be the 3rd straight year that the Railers and Rangers face off with a trip to the finals on the line. And then wrapping it up.
It makes sense if it does.
Yeah. And then wrapping it up in the Mid-Atlantic division, and I say that it all came down to the last game of the regular season, because a win for the Renegades over the Little Flyers actually helped them leapfrog the Little Flyers for the number 3 seed. That way it's
That's
Little
right.
Flyers versus Union in the play-in game. Renegades get the Huntsman, and then 87s await the winner of the Little Flyers and Union. So, Jeff, loaded question.
Oh boy. And I'm by
What?
myself too, so no one else
Yeah.
gets to go first and I get to sit
So,
there.
what series attracts your attention? We're looking at first round, right? Like
Right.
what grabs your attention right away?
I'll say so we're looking at just Avs, Chiefs, Express,
Well,
Seahawks, Thunder, and
and
Little Flyers.
you could say Avs,
I don't truly know
Chiefs.
any other series
No,
before
well,
those games win,
well,
but
those are the play-in ones, right? So I mean,
right.
I'm saying between now and the end of the first round, you could say it's already a matchup, or you could say the winner of the Avs and Chiefs versus the Thunder. You could kind of call that a series, right? Like,
Yeah.
what grabs your attention first? We are going to have an article from Anthony DePaulo coming out,
Yep.
similar to what he wrote it last year, where he'll say this is the first round series, and here's why each team can win. So, you want me to go first?
Well, no, I would say that the Avalanche. I want to see the Avalanche Thunder because we saw the Avalanche go to the championship last year and they fell just short to the Rangers. And are the Adirondack Junior Thunder? Not are they for real? Because obviously we know that they're for real, but can they translate regular season success into postseason success against a team like the Avalanche that has been there, done that? Now, obviously, I know Vinny Calgieri's not there anymore, so it's not all of last year's team, and a lot of guys have since moved on to the EHL Avalanche or moved on to other programs or college, so it's not completely the same team. But I think that's a huge test for Glenn Murkowski and the Adirondack Junior Thunder to meet a team like the Avalanche that has been there, done that in the EHL Premier Division versus someone like the Adirondack Junior Thunder that's never been there before because it's their first season.
Yep, for sure. Avalanche will have to knock off the Chiefs first at 1:30 on the 7th. That's the play-in Tuesday, or well, I should say we have 2 days of play-in. We have the 7th and the 8th. So if they can get through that one, that will set up a matchup for them up at Adirondack, where I think they played there once and had 2 games that both went to overtime. So
yeah, I think you're right.
That
up at
could
CIA, as Anthony likes to say,
classified. So I kind of want to stay in that division.
Yeah,
because
it's loaded. I mean, why not?
The Wolves and Lumberjacks. I mean, that division, you can make the case has 4 of the top 7 teams in the league, right? Yep. So if we're talking really just play-in through first round, I can't think ahead too far in the Boston to what could be with the Railers and Rangers, but
right. And well, I didn't mean that either to the Chiefs as any, flack to them, because like you just said, the Avalanche have to beat the Chiefs first, and we've seen crazier things with play-in games, so it's not a lock even that the Avs beat the Chiefs. You got to get that one done first before you can even go beat the Thunder. So yeah, that's why it's kind of I get it. It's an exciting question to answer, but kind of hard with things still kind of moving.
Yeah, for sure. So just to read off the matchups, then in the EHL. As my page just said no.
No, you will not get the information.
It came down to the end a little bit, in the EHL as well. We did know the North was set as Avalanche versus Lumberjacks and Spartans versus Wolves. Those are the 2 first round matchups because there's no play-in game in that division. Next year we'll have enough teams to have a play-in, right? Because we're going to have to reshuffle a little bit with some new teams coming in.
Play-ins. We love play-ins.
in the
if you don't, suck it up.
Yes, in the East Division, the Rangers are awaiting the winner. The Express are awaiting the winner, I should say, of the Wizards and the Warriors. Caught myself there. There's so many matchups, Jeff. Wizards and Warriors are in the play-in. They're actually kicking off our plan. They did not do this intentionally, Jeff, but the 3 play-in games are 11, 11:30, and 12.
Oof.
So it's
you can kind of flip back and forth, but not really. I mean, people will be in intermission.
You could kind of go like, all right, first period ended, go to this one. First period ends, go to this one. So 11 a.m., Wizards versus Warriors. Winner then gets the Express, which if it's the Wizards, that's a matchup that they had last year in the postseason with game 2 going to triple overtime.
That's right.
So I don't know if we want to deal with a game that long again, but
Oh, boy.
if we do, we do, right?
Right.
It will probably happen in Providence. Watch this. So,
3-game series are back, buddy. I don't know.
yes.
It could.
Yes.
Tired legs as the series develop.
The other matchup in that division that I started to kind of say before is the Rangers-Seahawks, which when you look at the play-in matchup in the EHLP, if the Seahawks win their play-in matchup, we'll have Rangers versus Seahawks in both divisions, EHL and EHLP. So
it makes it easy for Corey Ellerton, Xander, and Richard to all just get both teams, and you go and you play them in one bus.
Yeah, exactly. Moving to the Central, the Railers also a number 1 seed, awaiting the winner of the Rough Riders versus Apple Core play-in game, which came down to a tiebreaker of head-to-head points for who would host that game, and the head-to-head points totals was 7-6.
Oh, Rough Riders slight edge, huh?
Like by the 1 point, right? So and like.
Was that a showcase game that maybe decided that too?
No, I don't think I don't know if it was a showcase game, right? But you just think like.
Actually, yeah, they're close enough where we probably didn't have them playing showcases at all.
But you just think like 1 point, like any game to be ahead of them, 1 point in that matchups against them, and you're hosting, but now you're going there, and
that's why it sounds so stupid when we talk about it. Like in October, November, about like overtime losses. We always sneak in like, I don't know if this will come back later in the year to haunt you or not. And
but it could.
Coaches, right? And bam, there you go, right? I mean,
like 1 point, 1 point,
1 overtime loss. That's it.
So now we move. Oh, sorry. The other matchup in the Central, I should say, the one that's already confirmed: Chiefs versus Rhode Island. With Rhode Island as the 2 seed, right?
Yep.
So definitely going to be interesting for sure. And then we wrap it up in the South, where I've had now 2 coaches in the South tell me that any of the 5 teams could come out of that division.
I believe it. That is the New England division. See, I got it right there, Neil, of the EHLP. That the South is the New England of the EHL. It's just there's no bad teams. It's loaded, and it's crazy again that the Little Flyers got on a nice little heater in the second half and snuck out of that playing game by a mere 1 regulation win with their 53 points. Team Maryland. I mean, they both played well down the stretch. Maryland was 5-0. Little Flyers are 5-0 down their last little stretch, but Little Flyers sneak into 3rd. Maryland slips to 4th. Into the playing game goes Josh Fusco and Team Maryland.
Yep. To face Philly Hockey Club. Winner of that gets the Protect Ducks and head coach of the year, Terry Watt, right? While 87s versus Little Flyers. If you want to say that the Wolves and Lumberjacks always have a matchup every year, the 87s, the Little Flyers, always have a matchup every year against each other.
Yeah. And I think Little Flyers, Mark Catron, Alo, Mike Derrigan, all of them are probably licking their chops because they're playing their best hockey at this point in time. And, with the 87s being the defending champions, I'm sure they'd love to state their claim and say, hey, we're not even going to let you guys get out of this round. We're going to knock you off. And then obviously Adam and the bunch are probably saying the same things that they want to get back to Frozen Finals country in Providence, Rhode Island. And that's going to be a tough series.
So that wraps up the playoff matchups. I actually can hear Chase talking in the next room over. Can you hear him?
Chaser? No, I can't.
he's giving his opinion here too right now.
Good afternoon, bud. Hey, Nash always does. Chase, it's your turn now, pal.
You know what? Let's go to fantasy now.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it all up with what to watch for. So let's jump to fantasy.
It's time for the eCrew Fantasy Challenge.
The eCrew Fantasy Challenge is presented by BioSteel, the sports drink of the EHL. Use the promo code ESHOW, that is ESHOW, for 25% off when you check out at biosteel.com.
Quick recap of the points from the last week of the regular season. Kobe Howitt got the Team HNIB boys 8 points. Connor McAleer 5 points. Noah Webster 6 points. Nick Hunter a pair of points. Nothing from Nick Shots, and then 9 points from Callum Waltz. So a solid 30-point week to wrap up. They finally
cooled off though.
Yeah, but they did cool off a little bit
Yes.
to wrap up the season. And then we gained a little bit of ground. We
Yes, we
increased
did.
our cushion a little bit, Jeff, because Will O'Brien had us a game-winning power play goal plus 2 assists for 9 points. Thor Hansen, not handsome. I know Jake wants me to say that. Got us 7 fantasy points on a goal and 2 assists. 3 goals, 3 assists, 3 power play points for 18 fantasy points from Jack Murkowski.
Thank you, Jack.
An assist from the other Jack Costabile. Nothing from AJ Wenzel. And then Louis Finnegan actually got the second start in that 2-game set for the Wildfires versus the Chiefs. I was kind of nervous there for a second. I was like, is he going to get no starts? But he won the second one for 6.6, giving us 42.6 and setting the table for the play-in / first round. There's 2 weeks left. And the first week is the play-in / first round. And the second week is the second round. And then that's it. And then if you lose a player, you'll lose a player, right? So
it's always been fun in years past. We'll see if it's fun this year for us.
The ground that they have to make up another week with no calculator, Jeff. 65-point difference right now. 874.2 to 809.2. So Team HNIB tries to cut into that 65 with the following forwards: Ben Sauerbach from the Express, Kyle Dan from the Avalanche, Miles Kidd from the Railers, defensive pairing of Eddie Mulligan from the Spartans and Zach Pappas from the Rangers, and then goaltender Jack Boschert.
Oh, that must have been Tyler that picked that one.
Yeah. You want to read off our picks, Jeff?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to. Give me 1 sec. We'll get those out. And we are going with Graham McDougall from the Philly Little Flyers. He's been a nice little heater at the end of the year. Brett Beal, who I think we both looked at and have seen. He's recorded a point in every game since January 31st. So come on, Beeler. Keep it up. You need Coach DiCaprio. Keep smiling. Keep you boys moving along. And keep me and Neil happy, will you? And then Tanner Contier, another really good forward for the Protecting Your Ducks for Coach of the Year, Terry Watt. So Tanner, hopefully he can send some more snipes into the back of the net. Adam Jubran from the Seahawks Hockey Club. Just saw him get some hardware for, one of the defensemen of the year. Mason Henney. Hello, Zach Overholzer from the PA Huntsman. We're going to pick him on defense. Love you, bud. And then we're going to go with 2 EHLP players. We're going to go with Kean Hodgins as our goaltender from the Adirondack Junior Thunder. The big young man, the 06. We're going to need some wins from the young Kean Hodgins to keep us rolling in fantasy, and that's what we're going to go with for the first round / play-in round, Neil.
It'll be a clinching round for us, Jeff. If we can get so far ahead that they can't physically come back.
Right.
So maybe they'll wave the white flag. But
we will see.
Still have to figure out if we want like breakfast in bed or what it's going to be in Providence. We'll figure that part out later. 65 points for Team HNIB to try and make up this week, which leads us to our last segment, what to watch for.
Before we wrap things up, here's what to watch for this week in the E-Show.
What to watch for is presented by Hockey TV, the official streaming platform for your EHL and EHLP action throughout the 2022-23 season.
I mean, what to watch for is the entire postseason, right? But
stay on Hockey TV and don't leave.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with really narrowing down a series apiece again in the EHL, because we talked about it already in the EHLP, so we'll do it just in the EHL now. And I'm gonna go with Ducks versus whoever the hell they play. Right. So it could be Team Maryland or it could be Philly Hockey Club. I think that we know how even the South is. I think the Ducks feel extra pressure on them to make some noise this season in the postseason as the number 1 seed. And it's not going to be easy by any means, whoever they draw in that matchup. So I'm going to go with that for my EHL matchup to watch.
I'm kind of looking at a couple different EHL matchups. I mean, I'm really interested to see how this Lumberjacks Avalanche series goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about the Lumberjacks, something about Seth Gustin. I don't know if we've just had too many good conversations with Seth this year. And we got our boy Chris Sorella, Uncle Chris, to one Chase Scott Ravin, one of our biggest fans and biggest enemies on the podcast. And the Avalanche have just been an absolute train just running through everybody this year. And then I'm kind of interested in Rangers Seahawks because, I mean, who are the Express going to get out of that? The East has been really interesting. The North's been interesting. So I'm kind of looking at both those series. So I'm kind of cheating and taking 2. series there, but
okay.
yeah, I'm looking at both of those.
We like that.
More the merrier.
Yeah, no, seriously, and they're all big series to watch for sure. And you know, it's crazy to think that we're here right now. It almost like you say this every year, right? And the cliche saying is that it just flew by,
Yeah.
but like, it was, knock on wood, a normal year again, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
just
it really was.
a really a normal season with the showcases and the All-Star events and what's shaping up to be arguably the best postseason we've ever had. I mean, you could make the case for 10 teams in the EHL. I mean, you can make the case for all 19, really, right? But 10
Yeah.
legitimate, like, this is why this team
True
should win the whole
contenders.
thing, right?
Yeah.
And we've said it's like 7 or 8 for the EHLP as well. So
And it feels like each year, Neil, like not to like keep bringing up, like we always keep saying parity, right? Parity,
yep.
parity. But I feel like this year was a step above like last year. Like each year's really gotten better and better and better. And yeah, so it is just kind of, and it is puzzling because it feels like just yesterday we were all in September. We were over at the WIC, the Worcester Ice Center, starting things off, and then it also feels like yesterday that we were at Exeter and Newington and all the different places we were at. And we thank all the generous showcase hosts. It was great being able to get all the showcases back in. First time, long time we've had a uninterrupted season, like you said too, which such a breath of fresh air for me and you who have been through the dregs of the painful years where we had to certainly cross stuff off, put stuff back on, cross it off again. So to be able to kind of just go through the season as swimmingly as we did really feels good for all of us for sure. And I think we're all excited to have the ending. What's the ending going to be? Who's going to be there?
So we record this on the 6th, looking to drop it later tonight as well. 20 days from now, we'll be crowning a champion.
20?
So we're doing it on the 26th. So the next 20 days are going to be hectic, but they're going to be awesome. So at some point after the play-in round is completed, you'll see all of our bracket picks.
Oh yeah! Oh, can't wait for that. See you Wednesday morning for that one.
Have fun with that for the fans at home. And the podcast will be back at the end of the first round to preview the second round. Of course, we'll have a preview after the second round for the Frozen Finals as well. But the postseason is here. Let's get this playoff party started, Jeff.
Let's get it started, Neil. See you Wednesday for brackets, bud.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to The E-Show. Learn more at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when next week's podcast is released.